morning, everybody. It's day 2 of HRC. Hooray! Day 2 of Chef HQ. Double hooray. We've got a very special demo and discussion this morning. We are joined by Galton Blackiston, 1 Michelin star from Morston Hall, whose birthday it is not today, but that's another story altogether.
Yo.
Sorry, we stitched him up last night in a restaurant, told them it was his birthday, and they produced a sparkler for him.
3 times.
And we also have representing Gressington Duck, we have Will Buchanan. So between the two of us, we're going to be having a conversation all about Gressington and how Galton is cooking it.
Cool.
Over to you, Phil.
Galton, welcome.
Cool.
How are you?
Welcome. Lovely to be here. Really lovely to be here. And I think my relationship with Gressington Duck and Will in particular goes back a long time. And so I'm delighted to be able to use the product again because it's seriously good. I'm just going to show you a very simple way that many years ago, because I've been in this industry a long time.
Couple of years.
Pardon?
A couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah.
How I used to do this duck recipe. I start off by taking the whole bird, taking the legs off. Very simply. Crack them there. And we don't waste anything at all. So the giblets will all get used for making the jus, or the gravy. You take the legs off like that, and you end up with what's called a duck crown, which everybody will know. Okay, but
I can tell you're used to doing demos, like straight in.
can you?
Straight in.
Oh Jesus, I don't know. If you see me, what I get up to with a certain Mr. Martin.
Oh no,
then
never seen any of that.
You'd think I've never done anything before in my life.
No.
But there again, he is a handful at times. But hopefully I show him how to cook properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd love the way they just kind of pointed the knife at me there as well. I'm
Yeah.
not feeling threatened in any way, shape or form.
Yeah. So,
How's life up in Norfolk?
well, I think, like in everybody in hospitality at the moment, it's tough. There's no doubt about it. You know, it's been a long winter, a wet winter, and we're desperate for sunshine and dryness, and then people will come out. But at the moment, there's no doubt about it. You're doing what you're doing, and you're doing it better than ever, perhaps, because you want to keep the people who are coming. And it will get better. I'm confident it will get better. But, you know, we've gone through the situation where staffing levels were tough. But now, you know, we just need some decent weather, decent dry weather, and it will come back very quickly.
Yeah.
So this is what I've got here. So that's called the duck crown. You could take the wishbone out if you wanted to make it easier for carving. And then I just lightly score it, trying not to go... You need my knife for this. This is a beast of a knife. I do think knives are massively important. So the beauty of this duck as well is that a lot of ducks that you get nowadays are very, very, very fatty. These are quite slim and trim, you can see on that. And I like that. And so it enables me to roast this dish really nicely and for the fat to render down quite well in the time allotted for cooking. I've got one of these in the oven, which is going to take about maximum 30 minutes. I have this theory, I don't know if anybody else agrees or disagrees, but to me, a duck is better, tasting-wise, when it's cooked medium to medium rare, not blood red rare. I don't want it blood red rare.
Right.
I want the fat to be tasty. That's just me. And what I then do with this is done the day before. And then I've made a solution here of honey, lemon juice, and sea salt, and you baste it over the duck several times, okay? And you just keep going back to it and baste it and baste it and baste it.
That's through the cooking process.
Yeah. And what I like also, and what we do with these, we pop these. You could seal them off if you wanted to, but pop them into the Gressington also. They cover everything, so they've got duck fat, and this is their duck fat. And there isn't anything better on roast potatoes than duck or goose fat. Okay. And Gressingtons have got it, and we buy bucket loads of that. So you put your duck legs, you'd season them, okay, cover them in the duck fat, in the melted duck fat, and cook them very slowly, okay? And then I use that as well. So I'm going to take this off the stove because I need some space.
While Galton's getting on with that, I'm going to find
on.
out a little bit about Gressingham. Welcome, Will. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, nice to be here.
So talk to us about Gressington Duck, I believe founded in 1971.
Yeah, so the Gressingham story started back in 1971. That's when Mum and Dad moved over from Northern Ireland and came to Suffolk. So there was my brother and I. We were only 1 and 2 at the time, and a dog. And Dad bought a building plot in Suffolk near Woodbridge, and he built his first shed. Initially, he started doing chickens.
I give that to.
So he was chicken farming in the 70s and the 80s. Built quite a business up to 3 farms, and then in 1989, or I think it was probably 88, we had the Edwina Curry egg scare. That was really quite difficult for the chicken market. So at that point, Dad looked around for diversification, and he came across Gressington Duck.
And so, am I right thinking that Gressingham, the origins of Gressington Duck, it's a mix of Peking and wild mallard?
Yeah, so the Gressingham was originally, so there's a chap called Peter Dodd. He did the original crossbreeding.
Okay.
And he lived in the village of Gressingham in Lancashire. So that's why he called it Gressingham. He started it in the very early 80s. And he took what was a Pekin duck, which is your normal big white farmyard duck. Very good at reproducing, quite fast growing, and he crossed it with the wild mallard. The wild mallard is a much smaller but meatier duck, also with a gamey flavour. So the crossbreed gave us a duck that was capable of reproducing and growing efficiently, but it also had a gamey flavour, and as Galton says, you've got quite a thin layer of skin and fat on it, so it's quite a lean product.
I read that in 1989 your parents took their first delivery of 200 ducks who arrived by train?
Yes, yeah. So back in the day, the ducks were all hatched out in the village of Gressingham up in Lancashire, and they used to send ducks by Red Star, which was a parcel service by train. So we used to get our 200 ducks delivered at Cambridge station, and then we'd drive up, put them in the back of the car, and bring them back to the farm near Woodbridge.
So back in the kind of late 1980s, early 90s, who were Gressingham's customers? How has Gressingham grown from being a mum and pop operation to supplying most of the Michelin starred chefs in the UK?
So we literally just started with the Good Food Guide. Back in the day, we bought that, and we started ringing round hotels and restaurants locally in Suffolk and Norfolk, and then we started contacting chefs directly down in London, and then we built up around and supplied directly to these people, and then from there we built up a network of wholesalers and catering butchers.
So is it very much knocking on kitchen doors, turning up with some product?
Yeah, absolutely.
Throwing it at the chef and saying, have a play with this. Let's see how Galton's getting on, having a play with his duck.
You stop calling me Galton.
Galton.
Listen, I'm the youngest of 5 boys. Andrew, Nigel, Miles, Jamie, and I got frickin' Galton.
Can I just say, you took that duck out of the oven.
Yes, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, but I was bombarded with this unbelievable smell. Unbelievable smell.
I'm going to show you that. Whilst William was talking, the duck had been in for about 20 minutes. And I'm now making what's called a hoisin sauce, a proper hoisin sauce. I will say this, it's really a recipe from a good mate of mine who I've just been blown away by his cooking, a guy called Gareth Ward. He's in Innisshire in Wales. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
It's Innisshire.
What did you call
Galton.
it? Innisshire.
That's one each now. One each.
Yeah, right. I've also got to say the one downside of William, he's freaking Ipswich supporter, isn't it? And unfortunately, Ipswich are doing much better than Norwich.
I was going to say, how many more points have we got than you, Galton?
Oh, Jesus. It's my worst nightmare. I don't normally have this sort of competition with Ipswich and Norwich because there hasn't been in the last few years, but this year, the tables are completely turned. But anyway.
We'll meet in the playoff final, I reckon.
I think we will. I think we will. Anyway,
Join
so let
us
me
for the
just
next
show
one
you.
where we'll be talking about who's going to win the Premier League.
So we'll forget the food, this is a more important question. So I want to show you this. Is that the camera to look at?
Yeah, that'll do. If you put it down on the board.
Right. So that has been in a 200 oven after it's been lemon juiced, honeyed, sea salted. I've then glazed it with the hoisin sauce, okay? And I'll let it rest now, okay? Now I'm going to do the accompaniments. In the hoisin sauce, which is in this pan, you have soy sauce, sesame oil, chilies, garlic, lemon juice, ginger, black-eyed peas, soaked. What else? Muscovado sugar, and that's about it. And you bring it up to the boil until the sugar has melted, okay? Then you blitz it in one of these until you get a fine puree, like so. And so when you're doing a different dish like your duck pancakes, to make your own hoisin sauce is amazing, okay? So that's what the hoisin sauce. Brush it over your confit duck legs, and I do think these are amazing. These are cooked confit duck legs. And for those of you who have pubs, restaurants, or whatever, brasseries, gone are the days when you can go to a pub and have a great confit duck. So missed, and I think that's a brilliant product. So, right, what I'm doing in this pan is my favourite vegetable, hispy cabbage or sweetheart cabbage, okay? I've just put it in a pan with a touch of butter in there. And then I'm going to add just a splash of water to it. Right, so and this will cook in what's called like a buttery emulsion, okay? Then what I do, whilst it's on, turn the heat down and cover it with cling film. Right? I think this is my go-to vegetable at home or at work. I just think it's amazing.
It's fast food, isn't it, really?
The idea is that you make this, you cocoon it.
So, Will, Gressington, red tractor assured. Right. What does that mean in layman's terms, the red tractor assurance?
So, the red tractor is a standard that we've developed over many, many years. So, it's a farm assurance scheme. So, it gives chefs and consumers confidence that all the ducks are reared to a very high standard of welfare. And there's consistency across all of our farms. So we use a lot of fresh straw, and we give ducks fresh water on a daily basis.
And are they indoor reared or outdoor reared or hybrid of both? Or
so the ducks are all indoor. So they're in big, airy barns, sheds. So typically a chicken would be reared at about sort of 35 kilos per square metre. Our ducks are at 20, so the ducks get roughly twice as much space as a chicken, and they get fresh straw every day, and they're free to roam around the sheds.
And have you diversified a bit in terms of animals? It's not just ducks. I think you do turkeys, geese at Christmas.
Yeah, so we started producing geese in the early 90s.
Are they as bad-tempered as they're supposed to be?
Yes, they are. They get very angry. Yeah, there's been many a run-in with a goose over the years. So I pity the poor guys that have to go and catch them and bring them to the factory. Geese have been a great product to market for us over the years.
How'd you turn this up?
But only at Christmas, really. It's just a seasonal production.
Cool.
And then we started turkeys in 2007.
Don't mind that.
So we're now the market leader in free-range bronze turkeys.
And have you had, we know that chefs all like to turn up to producers and suppliers and come and meet everybody and see the facilities. Do you welcome chefs? Have you had many chefs come down to Gressington, have a walk around and see what you're doing?
Yeah, we've had lots over the years, and we're always happy to host people.
Yeah.
We have regular visits from all our retail customers and friends, chefs, wholesalers, whoever. Yeah, we're always happy to show people what we do.
Has Galton been down lately?
Galton's
many times.
Galton's been around a fair bit, not particularly recently, but yeah, he's we've seen him a lot over the years.
Fantastic.
Ooh, yeah.
Right, over to you guys.
Yeah, it looks like you've moved to breakfast now.
Say that again.
Moved to breakfast.
No.
Yeah.
So the cabbage is cooking in a lovely little cocoon top there, because the reason why I don't leave, it keeps all the steam in, and it takes about 10 minutes and that'll be cooked. Beautiful cabbage. What I've got here is butternut squash, which I've just literally made it into gonna make it into a puree by popping it in this.
Yep.
Right, so blitz it until it's well cooked, smooth. And then that's gonna go with the main course. Right,
Make a
here we
noise now,
go.
aren't you?
Alan. Oh, I got
Alan.
it. And then in this pan, can you just turn that on for me, Chef, please?
This doesn't happen on James Martin, does it?
While that's getting turned on, just a quick question. Are more consumers eating duck? I know that Phil was quite keen to ask. Are more people confident cooking duck at home now than before because of people like Galton showing them how to do it properly?
Definitely, yeah. COVID was brilliant for the duck market because all of a sudden everyone was at home. Obviously, couldn't go out to eat anymore. So during that period, people really, we had a lot of website traffic. People.
Okay.
Experimented at home and got confident with cooking.
Now.
So we've got lots and lots of home chefs, and I think we're post COVID, our sales are higher, people are still cooking more, and there's definitely a confidence about how to cook raw duck.
I think it's quite remarkable for us all in the hospitality industry who are like dealing with cooking every day. The fact that other people spent all their lockdown learning to cook.
Exactly.
How's it going, Galton? Are you plugged in?
I'm all right. I'm doing all right. Everything's going all right at the moment. Yeah, so back onto this.
Before we get into that, let's talk about Morston. Because how many years now have you been there?
I've been there 32 years.
32.
And 25 years as one-star Michelin. You're supposed to say I don't look old enough.
That's a round of applause, surely.
It's all right. And I've seen it change dramatically, everything, and I'm very proud of the fact that Morston's all right. It's a little haven on the North Norfolk coast. It's my life, basically. Apart from the chip shop. Chip shop makes me smile.
Right.
Yeah.
As it should.
Phil, ask him how many tons of fish he has to get for that fish and chip shop.
How many tons of fish?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we try and do our buying at the beginning of the year, and so we buy all our fish, so we pay a consistent price, because as you'll know, it fluctuates throughout a year otherwise.
Yeah.
And so we bought our 40 tons of cod, our 20 tons of plaice, 20 tons of hake, and we try and get the price secured, so then we don't have this fluctuation. It's all from Iceland.
Clever.
As in Iceland, the country, not from the frickin' supermarket. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Well, I wanted to talk, going back onto this, I just wanted to talk about the confit duck leg.
Yep.
So those legs were confit, and then what I've done with it is to shred it, and then make it into this sort of sausage thing, okay, like so. And then, literally, what we do, take off the ends. I put a bit of hoisin sauce in the mix. This is going with the duck, okay? I can find the end of it. This is what I do all the time. I go round and round and round with the cling film, then forget where it started. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's an age thing. So you end up with that. Okay? So that's all the shredded duck leg. A bit of hoisin sauce added to it, and a bit of jus added to it as well. Okay, then what we do is we take pâte à brique pastry.
Oh, your pan's boiling over, chef. Sorry.
Right.
Doesn't happen at home.
It's just one of those things, you know what I mean? It'll be all right. And then we take the pâte à brique pastry, strip like that.
What kind of pastry is that, sorry?
It's called pâte à brique. It's like a very fine, it's almost, I don't know what it is, but it's a very fine pastry. It's all right, it's good for doing this. And what we're ending up making is a thing called a croissillon. Okay? So square it up a bit.
I love how Alan is now poised.
Alan has got to be poised.
Yeah.
He does this when I'm on Mr. Martin's programme. He's poised, just in case I might forget something.
That never happens.
No, not much, not with him. Anyway, so I'm painting it with a bit of butter. You put the duck confit in the middle, and you wrap it round, okay? Like so. Then what I've got here is we use one of the machines to make potato string, all right?
What kind of machine?
Oh, it's a
machine.
One of them.
It's a potato stringing machine.
I don't know what it's called. There's probably one around here.
Spiralizer.
A spiralizer. That was right. Who said that?
That's Claire.
Claire,
she's redeeming herself for getting your name wrong.
I know many things.
Right. So you wrap it round and you start going round and round and round, taking your time to do it well. What I've got in that pan, which boiled over, is the most incredible gravies and jus produced by a husband and wife team. True Foods, they're known as. It's Jack, and I've forgotten the husband's name.
Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch.
It's going well, isn't it?
Yeah. And but I have to say, I think there's a few of us chefs who have turned certainly to True Foods because the product is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's natural, and it's just a brilliant, brilliant product.
But I think that's half the battle, right? Is finding a group of suppliers in whatever form. And obviously we're talking about Gressington Duck today, who supply an amazing product. But it's this kind of, I used this word relentlessly yesterday, collaboration amongst many different parts of the industry.
The big thing is, when we used to get bucket loads of bones, absolutely bucket loads. Getting rid of them, they fill up a bin, you know, one of the commercial bins outside. And so to have this sort of product, which is already done, it's cutting down labour hours.
Yeah.
You're cutting down, leaving them on overnight on the stove, which is a little bit dangerous as well. It's just a brilliant, brilliant thing. So, you know, and the most important thing is the actual stocks are amazing. Second to none.
Fantastic.
I know a lot of us chefs are using them. I think Claire Smith uses them. Well, I know she does. We all do. We all do.
Galton,
I'm going to let you crack on with that.
Galton, do you think as a chef, choosing your suppliers, I mean, you're looking for companies or families or farms that have got the same values as you as a chef?
Totally. 100%. Massively important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got to go with companies that they're not going to be afraid when you tell them that wasn't very good.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to feel comfortable with saying to somebody, look, you've got to do better than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just going to quickly go on about this because you can imagine this goes round and round, all the way round. I have one already done.
Here's one you prepared
All
earlier.
right. Yeah. And that is here. So you can see one done here. And all what I do, literally 2 minutes before I want it, or 3 minutes before I want it, I have a shallow fryer there. Pop it in at 170, 180 degrees till it's golden, and you have a beautiful accompaniment to go with the duck. All right. Carry on, Claire. You can go on. Oh, I want to talk about the Jersey Royals. So
we're going to talk about Jersey Royals.
My Jersey Royals have been Listen, I'm old school, so I've turned to Jersey Royals, and it's a skill which I tell you, no young chef can do this. They can't turn a potato.
You can't lift it out with a knife.
I can't
either.
get it out like that. They can't do it. And you might say, well, why should you? It's modern cooking, all that. There's something beautiful about classical cooking, you know? And being able to turn a potato and cook it in butter emulsion with a sprig of mint. I've also got the youngest and beautifulest fresh peas here, and first of the season broad beans. I've got the Hisby cabbage. You can see where this dish is, where its roots are coming. It's springtime. Okay.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And Jersey Royals are just coming in now?
Just coming in now. Yeah, well, they are about now, yeah. So, yeah. Roy?
Great. Back to Claire, I think.
So, well, modern day Gressington, how large a company are you now? Is it you and your brother that are now steamrolling it, working it, leading it?
Gressington today, so we're farming about 200,000 ducks a week, 10 million a year.
Oh my God.
Which we sell a lot into supermarkets, but also huge amount into food service and wholesale markets and other manufacturers. And then we also do about 25% of the UK market for for turkey at Christmas. And most of the UK market on goose as well. So,
and this is all in Suffolk.
Yeah, so we're the main production base is at Redgrave, which is just the west of Diss. But we have lots and lots of farmers throughout the country. So we've got about 30 different duck farmers, all within a couple of hours of the factory. Some of them a little bit further up into Lincolnshire and Yorkshire. So lots of contract duck farmers. And a bit like Galton was saying, you know, we work with people who share our same values and obviously, you know, look after the ducks in the way that we'd want, and, you know, people that like to grow and develop their businesses just like we have. So
obviously that's an awful lot of ducks. And retail must be a really massive part of your market, and food service as well. But, you know, as a kind of still a family-owned business, when you see chefs like Galton, Michelin-starred chefs, you know, all over the UK using your products and championing them, how does that make you feel as a business? Oh
yeah, well, we're, you know, hugely proud. Obviously, you know, it's always a great endorsement to have the best people in the trade using your product, and you know, it's something that, you know, we put an awful lot of care and attention and detail into our product the whole way through, you know, right from the breeding ducks that are laying the eggs into the hatchery, the whole way through the farming process, and then in the factory as well. So it's, you know, it's fantastic to have such great chefs across the UK using our product.
And in terms of ease for the chef, I mean, obviously you supply whole ducks, but also portioned.
There's, you know, Galton's mentioned about the skill levels in the kitchen. You know, the market for whole duck, like Galton's obviously very capable about butchering a duck, but for most people, they really prefer using the breasts and the legs, or even something pre-prepared. You know, if they haven't got the skills, we've got, you know, a great confit product that's already cooked, and you can just regenerate it in the kitchen. But
so do you have a development kitchen kind of set up down there, or some of
our team's here, Katie in the blue and Simon, and Rebecca, who's our brand manager. So we've got a full-time team that are looking for either getting a brief from a supermarket for perhaps a new product from a retailer, or looking at opportunities in the food service market and new products to make duck more accessible. At the end of the day, you know, we want duck on both in consumers' kitchens and on restaurant menus, and we've got a real push at the moment to make it easier and to make it accessible for chefs.
Are you doing any air fryer recipes?
I think there are a few air fryer recipes, aren't there? Yeah. I haven't tried it myself, but I haven't got an air fryer at home yet.
Well, it was a 2 Michelin star chef that said to me, "Get an air fryer."
Right.
I've got one. They're amazing. And are your parents still around? Or?
My father sadly died only a few weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But yeah, Mum's still fighting strong.
But did they kind of look at how Gressingham has, obviously in the 1971 they came from Northern Ireland and had a couple of sheds of chickens.
Yeah.
And now you're doing millions of ducks.
Yeah, no, they're hugely.
Could they ever have imagined that?
No, I don't think so. No. Dad was always a great one for looking at opportunities in the market.
Yeah.
So, he came from a mixed farm in Northern Ireland and he had some pigs and a few chickens over there. And then he wanted to come to Suffolk because he saw the opportunity in chicken. And then he had some cattle as well. And then the duck opportunity came along and he, switched everything into duck. So
what an amazing success story, and actually not that long a time, is it? So incredible.
Yeah.
Galton, how are we doing?
Yeah, I've just carved the duck, and I have to say it's always in a bit of fear and trepidation, but I don't think I could have cooked that much better than that.
Looks perfect, Galton.
It's all right. I begin to know what I'm up to.
The trimming up that you were doing there, you were cutting a little bit off the underside of the breast.
Yes, it's a chefy thing. It's because I don't want anybody to, when they have the duck, to chew anything really apart from the actual duck. So there's this little bit of sinew. Would I do that at home? No, I wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. But for paying customers, I just take it off. Right, just to present the dish.
I was going to say, it's gone all serene in here now.
Yeah, it's all right. Right, I've got my peas. Chuck them into there at the last minute.
Is that knife as old as you in Morston Hall?
Pardon?
Is that knife as old as you in Morston Hall?
Listen, this knife, some of you guys might know about this company. They're called Block Knives from Sheffield. They cost a frickin' fortune, but you get what you pay for. You won't find a sharper knife anywhere than this. And I've been around and seen people's knives. They aren't as sharp as that.
He's a proper company boy, isn't he?
It is a beast. And it has taken me a few years to get used to it, I will say that. But it's amazing. So,
Galton Blackiston, available for sponsorship.
You asked me, so I'm telling you. Right, and this little beauty here is the croustillant of duck. So there we have the confit duck in the potato, like so. Give it a tiny brush. Less is more with Hoisin.
It's quite a strong flavour, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of that. This cabbage, I want to talk about this cabbage because it's beautiful. It's perfectly cooked. I'm loath to mess about with it too much, so I'll just cut a little wedge of it. And put this on the side. I think you're going to see that this is beginning to look as though it could taste really good. Do you know what I mean?
Getting there, yep.
The jus is reducing there.
To be honest, you had me at duck.
Did I?
You did, yes.
Cool. And now this is where me and Mr. Martin differ, because he wants to put massive portions on a plate.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a Michelin star, does he?
No, he doesn't, exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
There we are.
He thinks more is best.
Argument.
I think less is best.
Yeah.
Always leave them wanting more.
Absolutely. Well, he'd put a ton of butter on the top as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Mind you, that's where I do agree with him.
Yeah.
A little bit of the peas and the jerseys. Just like
They look
so.
great. I mean, I take your point, actually, in terms of that sort of meticulousness in presentation of the potato. They look like jewels on the plate.
Yeah, they are. And this is a tiny bit of the butternut squash puree. Again, you don't want to overpower anything. You want to enhance and not overpower. Like so. And finally, a little bit of the jus. This jus could have been reduced a little bit more, but I actually prefer light jus now. I don't like heavy, over-reduced sauces.
I think that's something that comes with age as well, isn't it? Because I agree with you. I wasn't having a go there. I wasn't having a go for once.
But I think that's a bit of a plate of springtime. So that's the beautiful Gressington Duck, Hoisin glaze, Hoisin sauce, spring vegetables, the incredible Gressington Duck.
Nice one,
A
Galton.
legend. Give it up for Galton Blackiston, people.
Thank you.
Will, thank you so much. How does it make you feel when you see a dish like that from one of your birds?
Hungry.
Yeah, off you go, you can have a taste.
Looks amazing.
It's a real pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
We've got all your details. You can find Gressington very easily on Instagram, on the website, and apparently everybody's invited down to come and meet you.
Definitely, yeah. Come and see us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
A dog walked up to a lemonade stand. He said,